everybody, and welcome back to the Blue Snot channel. Today I am back with another match preview, as I'll be previewing another Quakes game between the San Jose Earthquakes versus Philadelphia Union away. Now this is a very massive game for us, and even though it is just the Quakes versus the Union on the road, it's a massive game considering how we're going to going forward throughout the early part of the season. This is probably one of the easiest games that we had to start these first few games in the season, and probably the easiest road trip, or one of the easiest road trip that we're gonna get all year long. So I expect this team to at least get a draw out of this, and I'm really hoping that we can get all 3 points in this. And you might think that it does kind of sound easy by what I'm kind of like just saying it right now, but there is a bit of a problem that we're going to be facing. One, the Quakes never tends to do well on the road, which is a fact, but they also never tends to do well whenever they face an Eastern Conference team on the road. I don't even remember the last time the Quakes have actually got a win on the road against an Eastern Conference team. I know last year we did play an Eastern Conference opponent and got a point out, and that the only time that has happened was against the New England Revolution, but we never tends to get all 3 points out of an Eastern Conference team. The other issue that the Quakes have coming into this game is that they are playing against the Philadelphia Union, which you might think that it is sort of a weak team. There is one problem with this team. We haven't beaten this team since 2012. In fact, we have gone 4 game winless against them, including 2 losses and 2 draws against them. So they are kind of like a bogey team for us, and despite the fact that the Union lost to the Rapids just last week, they lost to them 3-0, and also gave up a hat-trick to a team that haven't scored a hat-trick in 8 years. This is a team that is very good at home, and certainly it is going to be a really tall task to get ourselves some points in this. But like I said, I feel like we really need to get something out of this. We really need to at least get a point, or even all 3 points in this, because if you look at our upcoming schedule, we got Houston next, and that is probably going to be a game that, you know, if we don't get anything out of this, that has to be a must-win game at Avaya Stadium. But then we go on the road to another, we're going to be playing another Eastern Conference opponent, and I think we're going to be playing Orlando City first, and then we're going to be playing Columbus in kind of like a back-to-back road trip. And those games are just going to be really hard. So for us, this is a big one. We really need to pick up some points in this. If we're going to potentially make the playoffs this year, we need to change some of the habits that, you know, the Quakes just couldn't quite get out of it in the past, which is finally get some crucial points on the road, finally end this kind of recent hoodoo with the Philadelphia Union and how we just could not get a win against them, and finally get a win against an Eastern Conference team on the road. So yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting to see. Now, in terms of the guy that I'm definitely going to be watching out, and the Quakes should be kind of watching out for, and I know I didn't really quite did this in my previous preview, or even the one that I did a preview between the Quakes and Sporting KC, but the player that the Quakes definitely need to watch in this game, you know, there's a couple of players that we definitely need to watch out for. Obviously, we got to watch out for CJ Sapon, because he is an absolute lethal kind of finisher. He's probably, I would say, he's kind of one of the most underrated kind of striker in the league. I mean, he last season, what he did with the Union, scoring so many goals for them, almost kind of like carrying the team in somewhat. He is going to be a guy that we just cannot afford to let him have some good space and have a good kind of view of a goal and just basically shoot on goal. And we definitely do not want him to get behind our defense and just cut through our defense and go on a one-on-one, because 99% of the time he is going to bury that one-on-one opportunity. And also we got to watch out for potentially we're going to have to face another tough goalkeeper. I mean, last week we faced a very tough goalkeeper, that is Sean Johnson, and we had not a lot of success on that. Well, this week we're going to face another tough goalkeeper, and probably the best goalkeeper in the league right now, that is Andre Blake. So we really need to, we're going to be really up for the task. Those striker is going to be really up for the task to try to put away those chances against a very good goalkeeper. But I think the guy that we really need to watch out in this game, and this shouldn't be a big surprise, and that is David Accam, the new signing for the Philadelphia Union. And I don't really need to say why we need to watch out for them. He is obviously the best left winger in the league. He is just a very speedy left winger. He can literally just outpace any fullbacks any day, and he is also very productive in terms of going on the attack, setting up those goals for the strikers to hit. And that is definitely going to be, it's going to be really interesting of how our fullback is going to be. I'm already have a bad feeling that David Accam is just going to completely destroy our fullback, since our fullbacks and alongside with our center back core is been a huge issue so far earlier this season. Now, in terms, of course, the starting 11 for this game, this is where I'm going to make a little bit of changes. We're gonna still go with the 4-4-2 formation, and I know that in recent game, and I kind of read the Reddit post about this, the Quakes aren't technically running a 4-4-2. I mean, on the team sheet, whenever Michael Starhay releases the team sheet, it's always a 4-4-2, but it's kind of more like a 4-4-1-1, and at time a 4-2-3-1, because our wingers are not really kind of like wingers. Our winger just pretty much just keeps going toward the middle. So yeah, in some ways, whenever we go on the attack, we don't really kind of like have wingers, and I think it's only our fullbacks that are kind of like acting wingers whenever we attack. So it's not really quite like a 4-4-2, but on paper it is a 4-4-2. And we start, of course, with the goalkeeper position, and it's going to be Andrew Tarbell, who, you know, it's pretty obvious that every single game from now, unless we sign a new goalkeeper, that it's going to be him, because we just don't really have anybody else that can just come in and be a replacement goalkeeper of Tarbell. And as bad as Tarbell is, that of course is the case. And you know, in that game, I won't say he had a poor game. I mean, he couldn't do anything about that first goal. The second goal, you know, I don't think he could have done much about that one either. So he didn't really have the worst game this season, but yeah, he's definitely not a goalkeeper that I would really hope that he can be like our future and part of this process of rebuilding. But in terms, of course, the fullback, and this is where it gets interesting, because in the left back, I'm gonna say Joel Quaberg. It is officially time to pretty much stop this left back experiment with Shea Salinas. He's clearly not a left back, and I really think the reason why last year he can play in that left back position was because he was act as a wing back in that 3-5-2 system. He didn't really need to defend a lot last season, but now this season, since we're going with a 4-4-2 formation and that he's not really like a wing back, he has to track back in most of this game, and it's pretty clear that Salinas is really bad in terms of tracking back and trying to defend. It's pretty clear that that is one of his biggest weak points. So it's pretty clear that we cannot let this happen again, and I think we have to put Quaberg in there. Even though Quaberg might not be a good option, you know, he's not going to be as bad as what Salinas is. At least that's what I kind of think. But in terms, of course, the right back, it's gonna be Nick Lima, and Nick Lima, I think he probably was the man of the match for me in that NYCFC loss. He basically was very good on the defensive end. He was probably just basically our defense. Like, if we didn't have Nick Lima in that game, we could have easily conceded more than just 2 goals in that game. And he also did very well going forward on the attack. So yeah, Nick Lima of course is gonna be there. And then in terms of course the center back core, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Quintana and Youngworth. Yes, I know what I said last week about how, you know, I talked about how Youngworth have already told the team that he does not want to move back to that center back role and he want to just play in his natural position. But you look at what happened last weekend with Cummins and Quintana, you know, they just don't look like a good partnership at all. And I know a couple of weeks ago I said that we should kind of like give it a time and stuff like that. Yeah, but in this kind of big games against the Union, time is clearly not going to be the definition that we're going to use. We really need to kind of like switch things up and pretty much put Youngworth back there, because with Youngworth back there, I think there's definitely gonna be a little bit more stability in that center back core. And also the reason why I put Quintana there is because we don't really have other kind of center back. Like it was either gonna be Cummins or Quintana that is gonna be the one that is gonna be on the bench for this game, and I decided to put Cummins there because I think probably he had the worst performance in that NYCFC game in terms of defending than what Quintana did. I mean, Quintana didn't do anything better, but you know, Cummins was kind of absolutely shocking in that game. So he's going to be on the bench. Quintana and Youngworth is going to be in the center back core. And then, of course, in the holding midfield, it's going to be Godoy and Jackson Yu. And I cannot believe how in the world does Jackson Yu not made a single minute in this season. Like, how have he not made any appearance at all? I thought this season was the season where he eventually is going to get minutes and he eventually is potentially going to move into the next level, but instead Michael Starhay just does not want to put him, and I don't understand why that is not the case. You know, I know that some people say that, well, Jackson Yu, he is still a very young kind of midfielder, he is still very inexperienced, but still, I just think that in order for him to get that experience and trying to get it into the next level, we need to at least give him some game time. And the fact that he's not getting any game time is just not going to help his development at all. So because of that, I'm going to put Jackson Yu in there. I'm hoping that even if Jackson Yu is not going to be starting in this, at least he can come off as a substitute. I cannot believe the fact that he has not made a single minute appearance with this, and I'm just really concerned about him and the fact that, you know, if he doesn't get any minutes, he's not going to be rightly developed in our team. So yeah, he's going to be in there with Godoy, and then of course in the left wing, and I don't really need to kind of call it a left wing anymore, because like I said, the 4-4-2 we run is just not really kind of like a 4-4-2. It's more like a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-2-3-1 at time. But yeah, in that position it is going to be Vako, and then of course on the right it is going to be Eriksson, and then up top it's going to be Husin and Wando. I think in that game against NYCFC, I feel like Wando probably had one of his worst game this season. I mean, he missed so many chances in that game, and I just hope that, you know, maybe this is not a sign of father time finally catch up to him and the fact that he can't really be productive anymore for us. But you know, I hope he'll shake it off in this game. He did, of course, score a goal in our road trip against Sporting KC, so maybe he can score another one on the road again. So yeah, Wando is going to be in there along with Husin, who was very quiet in that game. I mean, I don't think I even mentioned his name a lot, and I'm not quite sure what happened to him, but yeah, I'm still just gonna put him in there with Wando. And in terms, of course, the prediction for this match, you know, like I said, we really need to end this hoodoo with the Union. We got to finally get something out of this game. This is one of the easiest road trip we're going to get all season long, and if we don't get anything else, you know, these next couple of games is just, it's gonna be really just hell for us, and we potentially can get out of April with just 3 points in our first couple of games, and that is where we probably would start to be a little bit concerned right now, because we're gonna have to play catch up in like in the summer and also in August, and I think that is something that I have not seen the Quakes done a lot. Usually the Quakes get off to a very kind of fast start, and then they kind of like dip a little bit in the middle of the season and then go on a really good run near the end. Well, so far that is not the case. So far we got off to a good start against Minnesota, but then we just completely dip, and there is a big possibility that we're going to be even dip even further down because of these tough games coming up. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be a win. I think we're gonna break the hoodoo this game, and I'm gonna say it is gonna be a 2-1 win against the Philadelphia Union. And yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this prediction, and what your prediction for this game and the starting 11 will be for this game. And I, of course, will see you guys next time. And actually, before I leave, one more thing, I might think about doing kind of like a live match reaction on my YouTube channel. I don't know if I'm going to do one or not. It depends on if my internet can actually be very good. My internet has been just very inconsistent lately, so yeah, I'll see if I can do a live match reaction. I'll of course announce it on Twitter on pretty much on Saturday morning, whether or not I'm gonna do a live match reaction or not. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I of course will see you guys next time.